Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 203. My name's Adam Patterson. Joining me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw in the house. Kevin, what's going on?
It's alright.
Is it,
It's alright. It's really cold and windy.
what's the snow situation like there?
Nothing right now. Tomorrow, it's supposed to get some snow. But it's been super windy to the point that it sounds like my house is falling apart. Really loud. So you might get to hear some of that on the old podcast.
Yeah, you might be able to hear some radiator noises coming from mine. Normally I turn it off, but it's so cold that there's just no way that I can do it. So you may hear some of the old classic radiator clicks and hisses coming from my end. Background noise aplenty. Background noise aplenty today. Which I always love to hear when I'm editing, because it just makes me feel like such a... You know, we're 203 episodes in, and it's like we still can't nail this whole audio thing.
There's nothing you can do. You just can't do it.
It's great. It's what makes our show professional.
Well, exactly. I think everyone knows that and realizes
by this point, yeah. This week on the show, we got 2 indie horror movies that we're going to be talking about. First up will be Southbound. This is an anthology horror tale. And then we also have Nina Forever, which is kind of a zombie movie of sorts. We'll also be talking about someone we've been watching on the watch list. We'll be going over this week's VOD releases, movie predictions, Blu-ray releases. Remember, you can send us your questions to podcast@filmpulse.net. Be sure to check out our Patreon too, patreon.com/filmpulse. And I thank you for your support. Let's talk about some news items. I don't really have a whole lot, as usual, on the list here. 3 more Transformer movies have been announced. 3!
Why?
3 more.
You just ruined my fucking day.
So, 2017, 2018, 2019.
Sweet Jesus.
So that's gonna happen.
So what's the total on that now? Like, how many Transformers movies is that total?
7, I believe.
7 Transformers movies. Are you serious?
Yep. So, yay for that.
Damn.
That's wonderful.
How do you have enough material for 7 movies?
You don't. I don't think you do.
You can't. There's no way. I mean, they're like machines and appliances and shit that turn into robots.
Yeah.
Like, that's enough for like two films maybe, not 7. God.
Yeah, it's pretty bad
incredible.
news. Pretty shitty news on that. I wanted to mention this Twitter account that popped up. I believe it was this week. I don't know if you had a chance to check this out.
Is this the one with the introductions of female characters?
So at FemScript Intros on Twitter, it's basically Ross Putman, this producer, who is he took to Twitter and he's releasing the descriptions of female characters in the scripts that he reads. And it's kind of ridiculous. I don't know if you've read any of these.
I have, and it's on one hand it's funny, and then on the other hand it's extremely sad. Yeah.
Let me just read. So what he does is he posts them up verbatim, but he just changes the name to Jane. So I'll just read a couple of these just at random. Jane, late 40s, naturally attractive, is having a glass of wine on the island of her spectacular kitchen. Jane, 20s, a neighborhood girl with fuck-me eyes for him. Jane, 30s, beautiful but pissed.
Wow.
He enters and approaches Jane, mildly attractive secretary who is at one of the filing cabinets. As we get closer, we see that Jane is an attractive girl, but a little worn out looking at the moment.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, these are great. Make sure you follow this account. Again, it's at FemScript Intros. FEM Script Intros. and it's a barrel of laughs and sadness. It's a barrel of laughs and a barrel of sadness.
What I would like now is the comparison. I would like to know like what
Exactly.
the male lead in these movies, like what's his
I want to see
introduction?
that too. Just to compare and contrast.
Because the one that you pointed out, it seems like there's more thought going into the kitchen than the actual female character.
Well, it's a spectacular kitchen, so.
And it's got an island.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, check that out. It's kind of interesting. I mean, it's not surprising, but it's still an interesting little Twitter account. I like those Twitter accounts when they pop up. Trailers this week, got a whole shitload of trailers that came out. We got a new one for Huntsman Winter's War, which I didn't watch, but I'm sure that it is amazing. I love how you have a Snow White movie that has no Snow White and has no dwarves.
That's how you do it, because you got to make everything dark now.
You just take them out. They're unimportant. Who's really important is the fucking huntsman. Side note, I watched Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs last night, the Disney one, and it was just so funny when the huntsman shows up in that movie. I just go, Chris Hemsworth. Because if you see him in the animated movie, he's like a schlub. It's just really funny. Let's see. A new trailer came out for Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. That's the Tina Fey one. I'm interested in that. That looks good.
I saw I don't know what trailer I saw for it. But yeah, one of them. It looks...
I'm interested. It could be interesting. Criminal. This is the one with Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Costner, where I don't really know what's going on in this one. Like, Kevin Costner plays some kind of serial killer or something, and his like the memories of Ryan Reynolds get implanted into Kevin Costner so that he can do something for the government. I don't know. It looks I'm not sure what to think about that one. Paradox. This is a time travel movie with Zoe Bell, so it's kind of a time travel action movie. Looks pretty bad. Mr. Right. This is written by Max Landis, I believe. It's with Sam Rockwell and Anna Kendrick.
Jesus Christ.
Not so sure about that one.
How does he... Yeah, never mind. Never mind. How the fuck is he still working?
It looks a lot like... it looks a lot similar to American Ultra, actually. Just with a hitman instead of like a government agent.
What? A hitman?
Well, he's a hitman, but this is the twist, though, Kevin. So he's a hitman, but he develops a moral code. So what he does is, anytime somebody hires him to kill somebody, he kills that person. He kills the person that hired him instead of the target.
What?
Yep. I think that...
What? Does he do any sort of investigative work before, or is he just... like across the board, he's like, if you hire me, I'm gonna kill you? Because like, what happens if it's like someone that was like raped and they're like, I need you, I'm hiring you to kill this person because they raped me, and he's like, ha, you hired me, I'm gonna kill you instead. I don't know. Like, does he look into it at all? Or is he just decided?
I would hope so, but also I feel like after maybe the first two that he does, people would catch wind that he's doing this and not hire him anymore.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you think that word would spread.
Yeah, I don't know.
But then again, I don't know how it works. Like the grapevine in the assassin department.
Yeah.
And
I don't know if there's like a forum. If there's like a forum you go to.
Like a subreddit for.
It's probably something on 4chan, I would imagine. But the new Purge movie, the Purge election year, got a trailer.
Yeah.
I'll see it. It looks, fine, I guess. It looks just like the last Purge. But this one's kind of interesting in that there's a presidential candidate who, her platform is that she wants to get rid of the Purge. So obviously on Purge night, everybody tries to kill her. And the character from the last Purge, I can't remember his name, but he's played by Frank Grillo. He's back and he's like hired as a bodyguard, and he has to protect this presidential candidate from being purged. So I'll check it out. I if I remember correctly, I liked the second one a little bit more than the first one, in that it was kind of exactly what you hoped the first one would be, but it still wasn't great.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that this next one is a little bit better than the last one, maybe.
It seems like we're probably, if these keep going, you're going to get it, you're going to kind of whittle it down to where they don't overthink the premise and they just go straight forward with it.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that they make like just baby steps forward with this premise, because it is such a great premise. It is
a good idea.
Yeah, it's a cool,
and definitely one that you can just
you can keep doing it.
You
can keep, as long as the Purge exists in this fictional world, you can just keep doing it over and over. Infinite amounts of stories. Like, I want to see, because so far they pretty much, if I remember correctly, they all take place in like cities. Well, maybe not. No, that's not true. I guess the first one was kind of in more of a suburban area. I'd just like to see them vary the locations a little bit. Yeah.
Switch it up.
Like, what happens in Hawaii?
Purge
do they purge in Hawaii? And if so, what does that entail?
What's that look like?
Broad City Season 3 got a trailer.
Oh my god, yes.
So excited. So excited for Season 3 of Broad City. Cannot wait. Silicon Valley Season 3 got a teaser. This is just a little tidbit.
Damn, that's on Season 3 already? Man, I haven't even started that one.
Oh, you are in for a treat, my friend. Because it is fantastic.
There's too much goddamn TV.
There's a lot of great TV. A lot of great TV right now.
Can't do it.
Yep. That's pretty much it for trailers this week. Let's go ahead and jump into our first review. I was thinking about doing Southbound just simply because it's first on my little tabs here. So let's do it. I have a synopsis. 5 interlocking tales of terror follow the fates of a group of weary travelers who confront their worst nightmares and darkest secrets over one long night on a desolate stretch of desert highway. This is directed by Roxanne Benjamin, David Bruckner, Patrick Horvath, and Radio Silence, which is a group of people. It's not just one eccentric individual.
I kind of hope it was, though.
His first name is Radio and his last name is Silence.
I would enjoy that.
Radio Silence is comprised of Matt Bettinelli, Olpen, Justin Martinez, Tyler Gillette, and Chad Villela.
Okay.
All right, Kevin. Now, you typically, not only are you not a fan of horror movies, but you seem to not be a fan of anthology films either. So let's hear your thoughts first. What did you think of Southbound?
It was close. It's close. I enjoyed a couple things about it. I found it interesting that normally the issue that I have with anthology films is that I just don't like the films in general, but they seem to be like short films, like whole films. This one to me felt like they were whole films, but we just like took a snippet out of it from separate films and then just put them all together. Like, like the first sequence that's a full-fledged hour and a half movie, but we just took a snippet of like 22 minutes and put that at the beginning. And then we found another one, took a snippet of like 24 minutes, slotted it in there, and just it's kind of its weakness and its strength at the same time. Where in the sense that I was like, I probably would watch a full-length version of that. And I actually want more because I feel really confused as to what's going on here, because it just feels like I got dropped in the middle of this film and some stuff happens and then I'm dropped into the middle of another film.
Yeah. I actually kind of liked that aspect of it, how it just, first of all, I liked how they were interlocking. They were connected with each other in various ways. I like that more than completely separate, like autonomous segments, but I don't really like it when it's just like one little thing that, like some kind of superficial item that connects them together. Like, oh, well, this person, like we're following this person and their story, and then they pass by like a woman on a payphone or whatever. That happens in this movie.
Oh yeah.
I don't really like that. I like it when it's like a more substantial link. And I felt like they kind of did that with some parts of this one.
Yeah, some of the transitions were nice and smooth, and other ones were it kind of seemed like they didn't know how to transition to the other one. Like I'm thinking like the first one
Yeah,
where he kind of goes and gets stuck and the door closes on his
and then the other
motel
door
room and then
opens.
it just pans down to the other one opening.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Or like you said, the payphone one. But I did enjoy I think it was the second one that goes into the
yeah,
third one.
that was
Like, yeah,
awesome.
that was a
That
nice
well,
transition.
because it was almost the same. It was like a continuation almost. Like that, the
Yes,
character.
exactly. Like I wasn't sure if we moved
Yeah,
into a
exactly.
different film or if we were still on the
Because
old
the
story.
character from that one stays through the next one, and I liked that. I thought that was a really interesting choice. I like the theme of this anthology. All of these anthologies have to have some sort of central theme around them, and I like that this one is just it all takes place in this uh desert area, stretch of highway.
Which is a great idea because the desert is inherently
Exactly, yeah.
terrifying.
And I like that, it
So
takes place some of them take place in the kind of like sleepy one horse towns and uh the the gas stations in the middle of nowhere and the seedy motel that has like three people in it. And I like that. I like those locales in really any movie, but to have it in this is kind of a central theme. I liked that a lot about this. I was surprised at I liked almost all of the segments like in this. The first one,
I pretty much did
the first
too.
one, I was like, "Oh man, I don't know. I don't know about this," cuz there were parts of it I liked. I liked the fact that you could see those things floating like off in the desert. I thought that looked really creepy and cool. But the way that
Yeah,
one ended, I was like, "Oh man, I don't know." But they sort of redeemed themselves by coming back to that at the end.
very much so because I thought the first one was the weakest because there just really wasn't much to it
Right,
at all.
exactly. It was shorter than the other ones, I think. It seemed shorter than the other ones, but the fact that it was almost a bookend, like that was pretty much the bookend.
Yeah, but it was slightly humorous in the fact when they just kept driving,
I love
and the
that.
guy's just like, "What the
Yeah.
fuck?"
Yeah.
It's just over and over again.
I
You're just
kind
like,
of liked
"What's
how
going on?"
there almost all of these segments have things in them that are just kind of bizarre and supernatural but completely unexplained, and
Mhm.
I kind of appreciated that. I kind of liked that there was really no explanation as to what was happening here and why these things were happening, because that's just what it is. Sometimes you're in this creepy vortex of just paranormal shit that's happening in this area of the desert, and it's
Yeah,
just like random horrible things are happening to these people that it's like the Bermuda Triangle or something.
which it is. Yeah, because if they tried to explain some of this stuff, I mean, it would have fallen completely apart because I don't think you can explain
Nah,
what's
they
going
wouldn't
on.
have enough time. But going back to what you said, I feel like almost all of these segments could easily be lengthened into like a full feature. I mean, really, all you have to do, like for the I guess it's the second segment with the girls and the band. Just develop
Yeah,
develop the characters a little bit more. But see, the interesting thing was there was a lot of backstory that they brought in, like with the girl that was killed, I'm guessing.
yeah. Like
Um,
you don't know. Like they bring her up, but I don't really understand what what happened to
right, but
her.
they didn't see.
Or-
I like the fact that they didn't waste. They didn't like shoehorn in this exposition with like two of the characters talking about it. You know what I mean? Because it would have felt unnatural or would have felt ham-fisted, and they'd left
Yeah,
it. They left it as it was, and to me that felt more natural and more realistic, and I appreciated that more. But if they did make that into a feature length movie, they would have time to either show what happened to that girl or, have them mourning over it for a longer period of
yeah.
time.
Now the only thing that kind of was slightly disappointing with some of these stories is a lot of them kind of deal with, well, I shouldn't say a lot of them, but a number of them kind of deal with the tried and true. Like that one, I'm thinking, like, okay, creepy cult. All right, I've seen this numerous times already. I mean, it's not a terrible version of
Nah,
that
I thought,
storyline,
yeah, I liked that one.
but it was still just a little bit.
Well, and they all have a morality to them. They're all pretty much morality tales. All of the all of the people in this that have bad things happen to them did something.
Yeah,
Possibly did something. In the case of the, I don't know, the girls, the rock band one, that one. See, that's the thing though. Like, if you're comparing this to something like Tales from the Crypt, in Tales from the Crypt, the people that had bad things happen to them always did something that was like pretty bad. Like they were pretty bad people. But in this one, it's like, man, they did, yes, maybe they did something that wasn't great. Like the guy that hit the girl. Yes, he shouldn't have been, having his earbuds in while he was on the phone and looking down, scrolling through stuff on his phone, pictures on his phone while he was driving. Shouldn't do that. But
no,
everything that happened after that, like he did all the right things, you know what I mean? And that happened more than once in this movie where it's like they called the police. They tried to get help. They they did everything that they should do. And I feel like he went, and I guess maybe that's why this is a minor spoiler, I guess, but why he kind of made it through.
yeah.
But there seems to be like, all of them have kind of a morality hook to them, much like Tales from the Crypt.
Now the question I do, because this is now two anthology films, but like, is that all Dana Gold's allowed to do now?
Yeah, I wondered that.
Because like that's all I see him in nowadays.
Maybe it was the same. Was it the same directors? Maybe that did
Might
those
have been.
two. I'm not sure because I don't know who did which segments in this. But yeah, maybe they did. Maybe it was the same people or something. But what was your favorite segment?
Trying to think of all of them. Uh, it might be the guy driving with the accident, the bleed over one, because that one was a bit different.
Yeah.
Because like you have the home invasion one at the end where it's like we're wearing masks, and it's like, yeah, masks are creepy. We get it, home invasion. I've seen this before. And then like the cult one.
That was the other thing. They never explained what that was all about, like why they did that. You know that guy must have done something bad with that girl, but you don't know. You never know what it was. Normally I might have an issue with that in a movie, but for some reason I actually found it more engaging in this movie. Like it just made me draw up all these conclusions as to what these things could mean or what happened, the backstories.
Yeah.
I
guess that would be my favorite. And I did like how the first one ended, where he was kind of like chasing around that room forever.
Yeah. I think my favorite was probably the second one, maybe the cult one, because I always like creepy people, and I thought that those twins that like had synchronized movements, I thought that they were pretty creepy.
They were creepy. They were extremely creepy.
Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe that was, but I actually liked pretty much all of them. Like I said, the first one I was not too into, but then I feel like they redeemed themselves by coming back to it at the end. The effects work on those creatures was not great. Like the CG was not very good.
No,
but I did.
I was going to bring that up next.
I did like. I thought it looked cool when like the ground was breaking underneath of them as they were driving. I thought that looked cool, but the actual the creature work on that was not great.
No, the creature work was much better when it was from a distance.
Yeah, because I thought it looked really cool when they were just kind of suspended in the air. They weren't moving; they're just hanging there.
Yeah, and you're just like, what the fuck? But then when you got kind of up close to them, it was like, it's bad CG. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Kind of lost some of its luster.
It did.
When you see it up close.
It did. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like they could have used some practical effects there with those creatures. Because they weren't like, crazy design. Like you wouldn't be able to make that practically.
Yeah.
When they were coming up from the ground, I get that. Like that would be hard to do.
No, they should have been able to just tear the ground apart. You utilize your budget better. Just been blowing up the ground. Come on.
Overall, I was pretty surprised at how much I enjoyed Southbound.
I gotta say, I was too. I was fully expecting to just absolutely loathe this like I usually do with these types of films.
Yeah.
Because I do not have a good the track record with these. It's not good with me. I mostly sit there thinking, God, when is this going to be over?
Well, I think that
Yeah,
I
that didn't really happen.
think that they did this one right. I liked was the last one, Tales of Halloween. I liked that one, but comparing the two, this one is way better. Way better. So
I would agree.
it's just more. It's tighter. It feels tighter. It's more concise. Like there's
Definitely.
a much clearer voice. The look, like visually, across the board, it looks the same. You know what I mean by that? Like,
Which it is, yeah, it is kind of interesting in the sense that it does feel like one movie
yeah,
where, you have all these directors, but they're kind of doing the same look.
yeah. It has a very consistent like tone to it, and I like that, and I think that that's probably something that's kind of tricky to do when you have so many people creating these stories and trying to interweave them with one another.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would recommend checking out Southbound. It's on VOD right now, playing in select cities. Let's go ahead and give it a score. Kevin, what are you going to give Southbound?
I'm going to give Southbound a 6.
I'm going to give Southbound I'll say 7 on this one.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm going to throw out a
All
7.
right. Oh, boy.
Yeah, surprised.
Watch out.
Let's move on to our next film. We're talking about Nina Forever. I have a synopsis here. After his girlfriend... Oh, hold on. I have to pull up the whole... It's one of the big ones. It's one of the longer ones here.
Oh, boy.
After his girlfriend Nina dies in a car crash, Rob unsuccessfully attempts suicide. As he begins to overcome his grief, he falls in love with a coworker, Holly. Their relationship is complicated when Nina, unable to find rest in the afterlife, comes back to life to sarcastically torment them whenever they have sex. This is directed by Ben and Chris Blaine, and an ad just showed up over top of the information, so I can't see.
Oh, what's the ad for?
Vikings
Ooh.
on the History Channel. The stars, hold on, Fiona O'Shaughnessy,
Shaughnessy?
Shaughnessy,
Fiona O'Shaughnessy?
Abigail Hardingham, and Cian Barry.
I like that slight twinge of just quizzical, like, I don't know. Am I right? Am I close?
Know, sorry.
It's like you were waiting to hear like a buzzer.
I'm just the worst. All right. I'll start this one off. So, over the last year, I've seen probably 3 or 4 movies that have a very similar subject matter where a girlfriend's coming back. Girlfriend dies and she's come back from the dead. There was that Joe Dante one. Can't even remember. The one with Anton Yelkin, I think. What was the name? I can't even remember.
What's that called?
I can't even remember the name of that one. Burying the Axe or something like that.
Yeah, I think it is something like that.
Then there was another one that I saw at a festival last year called Klinger, which was the exact same. And then there was, I feel like there was another one in there somewhere. I feel like there have been a lot of movies like this.
Wasn't there the one with the Audrey? Was it?
Oh, yeah. Aubrey
Plaza?
Plaza, Life After Beth.
Yeah.
Same exact thing. This one's different in that she just shows up when they have sex. So that it sounds like that it's not that different, but it actually is in this because it's not like she's just hanging around all the time. She appears. She like rises up through the bed, and I like the when it first happens, the first time it happens, I liked how they did it. How the bed just gets stained with blood, and then they have to like buy packs of sheets,
which was kind of funny.
The thing that
every time that she comes, she's in the state in which she left.
Yeah,
she's completely broken, and she has glass stuck in her face and in her throat, and she's bleeding all over the place. And when she comes back, that blood is everywhere. And even when she leaves,
the blood stays. The blood doesn't go with her.
They have to clean up everything.
Yeah, which is actually kind of a funny, almost like through line throughout the whole movie. Is every time she comes, like most of this movie is them cleaning because she just bleeds everywhere.
Which is, you do think that, like, after a while, because there's a funny little bit when they finally show the sheets again, and they finally decide to go with red sheets.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, it took you guys a long time to figure out that you should switch from white sheets.
Right.
Like, you just kept buying a shit ton of white sheets, and sheets they're not cheap. I mean,
Decent
you gotta
ones.
wonder what the budget was after a while.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Most of your expenses are going to sheets.
Yep.
Just cleaning up all that blood. Like, how do you have time to do that, really? You would have to, like, call off work all the time.
Well, and then eventually she just starts showing up. And this is kind of something that actually bothered me about the movie, is that it kind of breaks its own rules in that she just starts showing up randomly. Like, they're not having sex. And then she just starts showing up, not even around Rob. She starts showing up with Holly. And she's like in the bathtub, and then she shows up some other places. And at that point, it's the movie actually started losing me because of that. I'm like, okay, well, you just broke your own rules. Like, what's going on here?
Well, it was, yeah, because it kind of lost me there too, and mostly just because the storyline seemed to just come to a grinding halt.
Yeah.
Like, it just started, I mean, just trickling along. It just seemed like they ran out of steam, but they just kept going for some reason. Not sure why. When she first started showing up towards the end at, was it Fiona? Is that her name? Or Holly?
Holly. Yeah, Holly's.
Yeah, she starts showing up at, around Holly. At first, it was kind of funny, interesting. She's just showing up, just sitting in the chair.
Mm-hmm.
And then that one time when they're just watching TV late at night, it's just the two of them. But yeah, it kind of went nowhere after a while. And I liked what they were trying to explore with this. It was, I must say that I was kind of surprised and a little let down that they didn't really use this as an opportunity to really, it's not really a horror film or anything.
No, not really.
Like, the first time she shows up, it's like, oh my God, it's kind of disgusting. But it's more of a relationship drama, which they focus a lot of time on that.
Yeah.
With her parents and everything.
Yeah.
It seems like a really interesting idea that just didn't quite come together.
Yeah, that's kind of how I look at it too. There were a couple interesting angles that they started to take, like especially with the relationship between Rob and Nina's mom. Like, there was some kind of weird, they had a really weird relationship. I felt like Rob in general had a strange relationship with Nina's parents. Like, it seemed like he was way too close to them. And which I thought was kind of an interesting dynamic. And then at first I was like, oh, this is actually really, this is really kind of fascinating in that like Holly was trying to get over it. She really liked Rob. They really liked each other, and she was trying to accept that this is just how it's going to be. Like, she
and they were trying to figure out ways to do
it
and how to do it and everything, but it seems like, he gave the impression that he wanted to work through it, but at the same time, he seemed to be kind of perpetuating it because he wouldn't let it go, every Sunday going over to her parents' house. Seems a bit much. Like, I can understand, because that would be like a kind of a tricky situation of whether to stay in touch with the family or not. Right. But I don't know about every Sunday.
That's what I mean. He was like so close to them. And they explore that a little further later on and I thought that they were going to do something really interesting, because there's a scene where he goes to dinner with them, and what happens, I thought it went a different way, but there's a scene where they show like the blood like staining on the white sheets, and I thought that was the tablecloth at the restaurant that they were at, and I was like, oh man, she's going to show up at the restaurant while they're eating dinner. But it didn't go that way.
That would have been spectacular.
Yeah.
That didn't happen though. I mean, I thought the way they handled that relationship, I thought was quite good, especially that scene with the father kind of letting them have it.
Yeah.
I thought that was handled quite well. But I don't, the whole Nina storyline, it's again, it just felt like it lost steam.
Yeah.
And they just kind of forgot about it. And they're just like, well, we'll have her show up at the house a couple times here and there.
Well, and I don't really understand, and I can't really say much about what happens because it would be a spoiler, but I don't really understand what happens there at the end. Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. I don't know if I missed something, but
Well,
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but sort of the realization that you have at the end about Nina and Rob goes to see her. I think that I legitimately missed something.
well, it seems like as though, and kind of like Nina points out too, is that she's under Holly's skin now, and it's more of Holly being obsessed with her, and Rob has kind of moved on. But I don't know. Like, if Rob ends up getting another girlfriend, is she going to show up during that space and time, or is she with Holly now?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't really understand the rules of how this works, because it doesn't seem like they want to obey their own rules.
No.
And
yeah, it kind of falls apart towards the end. I mean, it goes down some interesting roads, but ultimately,
I will say that out of these type of My Boyfriend's Back style movies, this one, I found this one to be one of the most interesting. I liked it more. I'd say I probably liked it more than all of the ones that I previously mentioned. Because truthfully, I didn't like any of those other ones. I thought that they were all pretty bad. Life After Beth maybe being the best one, but I still didn't even like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it works interestingly enough as with, the whole romance angle of how he's trying to move on, and she just keeps appearing and they have to deal with her. And instead of dealing, with the memory of her, you actually have to see her.
Yeah.
When you're trying to be intimate with each other. But that only lasts for so long.
Right. And I like the idea that there was one sequence where they were like, okay, we need to forget about her. We need to, move on, and then that'll make her go away. And so they, get rid of everything in the house, and they try to remove every memory of her, but and it seems like it works, but it doesn't.
Just doesn't work.
No, doesn't work.
Mm-mm-mm.
But overall, I was a little meh on this one in the end.
Same here. It started off really strong, though.
It did. It definitely did.
So that's what I'm thinking.
I didn't think Rob was a particularly interesting character either. He was just a little. His personality was just a little flat. Like there wasn't much going on with Rob.
There wasn't.
There were so many times where like they would be doing. There'd be one of the sequences where Nina would show up and he would just like lay there. He would just kind of lay there and just stare off into nothingness. And it was like, why are you not reacting or talking or just doing something? And he would just be like kind of laying there, just staring.
Yeah, he was kind of.
A lot of times it just seemed like he had no personality whatsoever.
And it was a bit bizarre that Holly was so insistent on being dark. That just seems like an odd personality choice.
Yeah.
And the way they kind of framed it, where the boyfriend before Rob was kind of like, oh, you're just not. I forget what he says.
So she was too plain or something.
Yeah, she was too vanilla.
Yeah, that's it.
She's too vanilla. And then she's like, oh, I'm going to be dark. And I guess dark consists of spilling wine on the floor.
Yeah.
I guess that's dark.
She's edgy.
I guess that's edge. I don't know.
And she puts the makeup on around her
that's
eyes.
Right. There you go. That'll do it.
Complete transformation right there.
Did it.
Yeah, not much else to say about this one.
Yeah.
I'd say if you haven't seen all those other ones and aren't completely done,
looking for a place to start, a good place to start.
Yeah, it's give it a light recommend. There's some interesting sex scenes in it.
There's we have another thing to add to the terrifying hand job.
Yeah,
we can add another one to the list. Which again, Rob, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah,
like he freaks out after a while, but that should have happened like instantly.
Immediately.
Like if a corpse shows up, you got to put your penis away.
Yeah.
Like as soon as the corpse shows up, put your penis away. That's just weird.
It's just a safety precaution more than anything.
Yeah. How is that not just like that should be instinct, you would think. That like, oh shit, there's a corpse, let me put my penis away.
Yeah, I think my instant reaction would be put the penis away, and then B, immediately run either out of the room or at least into the corner of the room and cower. You know, like how you see in some movies where people they just cower in the corner of the room.
But yeah,
that might be what I do.
With the blanket, just the eyes just enough above the blanket.
And I'd probably be going, "What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, what the fuck?" That's probably what I'd say. I'd probably do a lot of that.
That's exactly what I would do. But the first thing, yeah, like you said, get the pants on.
Yeah.
Get the pants on.
Immediately.
You have no idea what the intentions are.
And if the pants
they're unpredictable.
If the pants are nowhere to be found, you know, if they got thrown across the room, you gotta cup it and then get yourself away, you know. Get the crotch out of the situation.
As quickly as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, that just seems, I don't know.
Seems like a no-brainer.
Would think.
But
just it starts and Rob's just like, I guess I'll see where this goes. Like a minute or two, he's like, shit, this is disgusting.
Instant regret.
Let's see the situation. Let's ride this out. See what happens.
Yeah. It also goes to some interesting place because I don't know if this would be like considered necrophilia. I think there might be some necrophilia happening here in this movie.
I would say, yes.
So
technically speaking,
there's that's going on with it.
Yeah, like the weirdest threesome you've ever seen.
Yeah, with lots of blood everywhere. Very bloody threesome happening. Gallons of blood.
There's so much blood. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting concept for a movie, though. I'll definitely give it that. It definitely gets points for being unique.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to give it to him. The execution of it, for the most part, is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Considering what we're dealing with here.
Although I think that there was sort of a wasted opportunity in the scene in the cemetery. I was fully expecting her to come up from the ground, and they didn't have her do that. She just that's what they wanted. Yeah, I guess they subverted our expectations with that. All right, so that's Nina Forever. I'll give it I'll say like a light recommend on that. And score wise, I will say I'm sitting somewhere between like a 5.5 and a 6 on this one.
That's kind of what I'm thinking too.
Yeah, like somewhere in between a 5.5 and a 6. Like it does lose steam at one point. I think probably around the time that they go on their little trip, on their little vacation. I feel like it really just kind of grinds to a halt, and I don't feel like it fully recovers from that. But It starts off really strong. So light recommend. That's Nina Forever. It's playing in. I think it is in theaters now, I believe, and it's also on VOD. You can check that out. Let's move on and talk about some of what we've been watching on our watch list. I'll start off with Deadpool. It's the big one, the big daddy. So I liked Deadpool. I didn't love Deadpool. Didn't love it. I don't really understand. This is getting a lot of praise, and I don't quite understand why people were loving it so much.
Well, it's interesting because like, what I'm seeing is everyone either absolutely hating it or just kind of being meh about it. It has like I'm also hearing that people are loving it, but I haven't really seen that. I haven't seen evidence of people loving it.
I've like on my Facebook, a lot of people are saying that they are loving it. I'm still in the Florida Film Critics Circle, and everybody there's been hyping it up, saying that they're just loving it. I mean, it has like an 80-something on Rotten Tomatoes, 84 currently. So it's doing very well. I mean, it's crushing it at the box office. So my thoughts, Deadpool. I wanted more action out of it. It is an origin story, and there's like maybe 2 or 3 action sequences in it, one of which you see in the trailer almost in its entirety. So I just wanted more action because I did like the action in it. I just felt like there wasn't enough of that. The jokes, most of them did not land for me. I thought a lot of the dick jokes and stuff, and just the kind of dirty, vulgar jokes, just for vulgarity's sake, didn't find them really funny. I mean, I don't mind vulgar jokes or references or whatever, but I just didn't think that these were that funny. Although I will say that and this is also in the trailer, but when I think it's what's his name, T.J. Miller, when he first sees Deadpool after he gets his face messed up, he goes, "You look like an avocado had sex with an older avocado," and I just thought that was funny. But
avocado jokes.
Yeah. So there was some bits of that worked for me. There is one scene where he checks the time and he has an Adventure Time watch, and that made me chuckle. There's a lot of fourth wall breaking in this, which wouldn't be Deadpool without some fourth wall breaking, and some of it works, some of it feels very lazy. Like there's some of it is kind of just like exposition where he's talking directly to the camera and telling us backstory and stuff. I felt like that stuff didn't really land because it did feel lazy. The other things, there's other smaller things that he does. Like there's a scene where Colossus from the X-Men grabs him and says, "I'm going to take you back to Xavier," and he says James McAvoy or Patrick Stewart. And then there's several references to Ryan Reynolds in it. One is okay. Two, when it starts to get like 2 or 3 references to Ryan Reynolds, that gets to be a little bit too much there. There's several references to Green Lantern in it being shitty, which I definitely appreciated that. And lots of little throwaway gags and one-liners and just visual references and things. There's one funny bit where, because this is a pretty low budget movie, they didn't want to put a lot of money into this because they knew it was going to be rated R. It was kind of a fan film from the beginning. But there's a couple scenes that take place at the mansion. They're the only 2 X-Men in this are Colossus and then that girl. Her name is she's got the dumbest name. It's
it's like Negasonic
Teenage Warhead, yeah. Negasonic Teenage Warhead. They're the only 2 X-Men characters in this, and there's at one point, it's like the second time Deadpool goes there. He's like, "Man, this mansion is huge." He's like, "I can't believe that you 2 are the only ones that I'm seeing here. It's almost like we didn't have a budget for more X-Men." And so there's like little, there's just little things like that I appreciated. Although I understand how some people watching that would be like, "Oh, come on!" Like it's just perpetuating the thing that it is, a low budget. It's making fun of it, but that doesn't necessarily excuse it for some people. But for me, it was fine. Like the violence.
No, well, it seems like if you go like a little bit of that, like smattering of those types of jokes and stuff, and pointing that kind of stuff out, I think it's humorous. But if you do a lot of it, it just seems like this is what we're going to do instead of
right
actually crafting a story.
And I can see both sides of it, because it is the character of Deadpool. That's what he does. He's nonstop. He's just nonstop jokes. Like that's how the character has always been. And I get that some people like that. Some people find that to be amusing or an endearing quality with this character. And I also get how some people find that to be extremely tiring and, kind of just cheap. But for the most part, I enjoyed the movie. I am more interested in a sequel because I felt like all of the origin bits really slowed the pace down for me, and I wasn't interested in the origin. I just wanted Deadpool, getting shot and getting hurt because that's what he does, and kicking a lot of ass. And there's a decent amount of that, but just not quite enough for me. But I'd still recommend checking it out. It's still entertaining. So Deadpool in theaters now.
Ooh. I watched this was a potential for future reference. Didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. Kind of missed the cut, but I watched one called Granny's Dancing on the Table from last year, directed by Hannah Scold. And it sounded very interesting. It's a coming of age type story, but like a slight twist to it where it's taking place out in the woods and this remote area where this young girl lives with her father, and you're not 100% sure what is exactly going on. One of the most interesting things about it is you have the one narrative, and it's split across two different visual styles. So you have the present happening in live action, and it's quiet. There's not much dialogue. It has a menacing quality to it. There's mystery because you're not exactly sure what the hell's going on, and it's kind of foreboding. You expect bad things to happen. It's creepy. And then the past is presented in stop motion animation. So anytime she starts to reminisce about the past or to give you some background information of how they got to where they are and everything, that's all in like crude claymation type stop motion animation, right? So everything's good and well. You have the mystery and everything, and you're just waiting and waiting, and it's drawing it out, and it's got this slow burn quality to it. But after a while, the what happens is the stop motion ends up being pretty damn interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And the live action stuff, after a while, just nothing happens. Like they add nothing to the live action after a while until towards the very, very end, where it's kind of like this, I don't know where this like fantasy element comes in and kind of, spruces things up. But at that point in time, it's a little bit, too little, too late. And it just, after a while, it just becomes stagnant. Nothing really happens. And the coming of age portion of it is just, there's really not much to it. It was kind of disappointing. It was interesting in the beginning, and it just became a disappointment.
Oh, that sucks. And that's Granny's Dancing on the Table.
I mean, you got that title. It's an experimental film, or at least it's billed as one. You have the live action mixed with the claymation. I'm thinking, oh man, I'm going to be seeing something different here. And to a certain extent, you are, but at the same time, it just really amounts to not saying much.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I saw Incident at Loch Ness from 2004, directed by Zach Penn. It's a mockumentary about Werner Herzog making a documentary about the Loch Ness Monster. And what he aims to do is kind of just look at the type of people that, want to believe in these types of things, and he wants to, break it down into like the emotional milieu of what causes this and stuff. And he doesn't believe that this monster is real by any means. He is sure that it's not real, but he wants to explore the kind of human side of it and delve into the personalities of the people that believe in these sorts of things. So the movie starts off. Let me throw this out to you. And this should be enough to make you actually want to see it. Starts off with a dinner party hosted by Werner Herzog. The guests in attendance include Crispin Glover, Jeff Goldblum, and Ricky Jay, the magician. I mean, talk about a dinner party. Now, I know that a couple weeks ago we were talking about how we would never want to go to a dinner party. They sound awful. That is a dinner party I will go to. Yes.
I would definitely go to that dinner party.
And
without a doubt.
And Werner Herzog is cooking. He's the one that cooked dinner for everybody. Come on. Amazing. There's also a scene where he's preparing to go, to the loch on his trip, and he's packing and he realizes that he's out of razors, so he goes to Rite Aid to buy refills for his razor. So it's like this whole scene of Werner Herzog picking out razors at Rite Aid.
Yes.
And
it sounds like such a bizarre movie.
Yeah. but it is it's a mockumentary, but everybody plays themselves. So everybody in it plays themselves, and it kind of it's about them making this documentary, but Zach Penn, who is playing the producer of the documentary, he starts getting notes from the studio, and they're saying, okay, we gotta spice it up, we gotta jazz it up. So he hires Katana Baker, who is she's an actress, but she's more known as a Playboy model. He hires her to be the sonar operator, and she knows nothing about sonar, so she's completely useless. And as soon as Werner sees her, he's like, "What is going on here?" And it's ridiculous. It definitely shows its age, and this came out in 2004, kind of before the whole found footage, resurgence of that came about. So
Yeah.
when you watch it now, it may seem a little tired, but you just have to remember that this came out before all of that was in vogue again.
Yeah.
And they actually do. There's several things that they do in this that I really appreciate. Like, one thing that always bothers me about these mockumentaries and found footage movies is sound, and how they justify being able to hear somebody that's in another room or far away or whatever. And there's like no mic packs that can be seen, and it's like there's no way a boom mic would pick that up. They kind of always account for that in this, which I definitely appreciate. But it's a pretty fun movie. The cover makes it look like it's some kind of horror movie or something, but it's really not. It's just a ridiculous comedy. But yeah, I recommend checking it out. Incident at Loch Ness. If you're a fan of Werner Herzog, you should definitely see it.
That sounds so bizarre.
It is bizarre.
How's that not like a cult smash?
I know. I think it will be. I think at some point
it's just, I don't know. It just sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's really
like, what or how does that exist?
It's a really weird movie that I don't know how it exists or why it exists, but it does, and I'm thankful because I had a lot of fun watching it.
Another one that I watched here. This was a potential unsung indie that didn't quite work out either. Things just quite weren't working out this week for some reason. I watched Menthol from Micah Van Hove.
Full disclosure, I supported this on Kickstarter.
Okay. It's a hell of a debut. There's a lot of it. There's a lot in it that I like. I mean, the opening to this movie is quite something. It's a handheld cinematography where a guy is tripping on a shit ton of acid, and the performance that he gets from this guy, it feels like he's really tripping, because he just starts assaulting furniture and walls, and he is beating the shit out of his body as he's pounding tables and freaking out. He takes all of his clothes off, and the police come, and he starts wrestling them, and it's insane. Like, it's quite a hell of a way to start off a film, because at this point in time, you have no idea what's going on, what this movie's going to be about. And then from there on, it's these four guys, like 20-somethings, that are getting back together, and they're kind of hanging out for the day. And it's just mostly them just hanging out and doing stupid shit. And his direction, he also does the cinematography. It's quite good. He takes a lot of very, very small scenes, but he makes them visually interesting just by his camera movements and the framing and the color palette that he uses. But again, so I'm completely pretty much in love with this movie up until a certain point, and that's where it has one of those scenes kind of like Moonwalkers, where there's just a very small scene where the one guy has his head up against the car window, they're driving, and something happens that he gets upset and reaches over to punch a guy, and he goes, "You nigger," and punches him, and then cut, next scene. And it's just one of those things, like, why? Everything was going so well. Like, why did we need that? It's such a small scene. It adds nothing. It adds nothing to his character. It's just completely pointless. And it just, like all the wind just came out of the sails. Like, it's just like I got punched in the gut. And it's just like, oh. And I mean, it kind of redeems itself a little bit towards the end, where something kind of ends up happening and changes the entire fabric of the film. and the way that the way that he handles it, the lighting, the cinematography of this is spectacular. But like the actual storyline itself it's but the execution of it's great. It's just that one tiny little scene, just I can't get over it. I can't move past it.
That sucks.
And that's the thing that I'm like, why would you keep that in there? Because that's all I can focus on.
I haven't seen this. I backed it on Kickstarter, but I did not see it.
And that's what it comes down to is if that scene's not there, I highly recommend this film. I think it's great. But with that scene being in there, it's like in all good conscience. You know what I mean? I don't know if I can really support it and say, yeah, I definitely recommend this. You just have to get over the fact that, a bunch of white guys just think that it's cool to call someone the N-word and, just forget about it.
Well, that's Menthol. It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Again, that's what I'm saying. It's just everything was unfortunate this week, as you'll see.
I saw Among Friends, which is it's a horror film. It's a horror comedy from 2012. This is directed by Danielle Harris, who many of you may know as she's sort of a scream queen. She's been in she started her career in I think Halloween 4. Because 3 was Season of the Witch. That was the one that didn't even have Michael Myers, but I think she was in a lot of the Halloween movies from then. She was in the Rob Zombie remakes as well. This is it's her directorial debut, I believe. Kind of about it's a dinner party. It's about a dinner party actually, where a bunch of friends get together, and it turns out that one of their friends is she has kind of ulterior motives. And what she does is she poisons them with something that makes them numb from the waist down. So they're like paralyzed from the waist down. I don't know what kind of poison you could give somebody to do that, where it like specifically targets waist down. Like, I'm not sure that something like that exists, but we'll go with it. Why not? And then she kind of reveals that she does a lot of these dinner parties, I guess, with her friends. And she had cameras installed all throughout her house, like security cameras. And she ended up getting all of this footage of them doing horrible things. And she kind of makes them watch the fact that they did these horrible things. And then she kind of tortures them. Like, she scalps the one guy, and one of the guys gets his balls cut off. And it's sort of an interesting idea. The ending was pretty bad. Like, it had this just kind of strange abrupt ending that didn't really feel earned, and it just wasn't I don't know, it wasn't great. I didn't like it, actually. It takes place now, but the party that she was having was 80s themed, so everybody has kind of this 80s garb on, but it just fell flat for me. There wasn't a whole lot here that was very memorable or notable or different in any way. Yeah. There was a lot of weird, like the one girl she's like high, so there's these fantasy scenes that she's having, not fantasies, but like hallucinations. So they do that quite a bit, and it just didn't really work for me. Didn't land. But I like Danielle Harris. I met her a couple times. She's really nice, and I mean, I hope she continues to make movies. It's not like it's really poorly directed or anything. It's just the movie itself is not great. So, AJ Bowen's in it, though.
You gotta get that AJ Bowen in there. I have a movie that is badly directed, and that's Bahraini's 99 Homes.
Oh boy, I haven't seen this yet, so
don't see it.
Just
Just pass it. Housing market goodness with Garfield and Michael Shannon.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the only really positive about this is you do get some decent acting from Garfield and Shannon. Unfortunately, like, Garfield's character there's not a lot to him, but he does what he can with what he's got to work with. And Michael Shannon's just mostly, just standard Michael Shannon, just super intense Michael Shannon. You know what you've come to expect from him. It's interesting in the fact that 70% of this film seems to be once Garfield gets the job working for Michael Shannon and he's forced to evict people after he himself has been evicted. It's this overly long montage of just him evicting people, just him go, and it plays out the same way almost every time. He doesn't really want to do it. He's kind of stammering while he's speaking to these people, and he just feels uncomfortable. And of course, the people that he's evicting say the same things just about, well, there's like two different types of people that he's evicting. One is the person that's like, what? Why am I getting evicted? No, I've talked to my lawyer. This is a misunderstanding. Da, 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 da. And you're supposed to feel bad for him. And the other one is just like they're an asshole to him. Like, you can go to hell. You're an asshole. Why are you doing this to me? And I just love the fact that they put all of it on this one person that's just, like, his job is just to go and be like, hey, the bank owns your house now. You need to leave. Like, that's his job. Like, he's not that happy about that job, but someone has to do that job. It's not like he's the one personally evicting you from your house and stole your house from you. So it's as if Bahraini's trying to make these people sympathetic. Like, you're supposed to feel bad for these people. But in all honesty, he's not doing a good job of it because, like, Garfield's character just seems like a complete idiot. Like, he's just stupid. He's just a stupid person and makes stupid decisions. And these people haven't been paying for their house. And guess what? You took money, and like even Michael Shannon points out a number of times, you took money out and you didn't pay it back, so they're repossessing your house. Like, this is how it works. You can't just have it. It's not yours. So at a certain point in time, it's almost as if Bahraini realizes, like, oh, damn it. Like, these guys aren't sympathetic. Like, this is just how things work. We'll just add something. And then they just throw in this plot contrivance that just completely turns everything upside down and makes all, everyone on Shannon's side of things like absolutely evil, terrible people. And now Garfield gets to redeem himself. And it's just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Hmm.
This is ridiculous. Like, Garfield has an out. Like, he loses the home. And all he wants to do is get the home back because it's his family home, which I don't understand why people get so attached to their houses. But he has an out where his mom, who's played by Laura Dern, is like, we can go to your uncle's place. He said we can go to Tampa and we can live there. And he's like, no, I don't want to take my kid out of school. So they go and live in a motel, which he has to take his kid out of school to live in this motel where they're paying, for a room, a shit room, instead of living with their uncle. So he takes his kid out. So your main reason for leaving, you're doing anyways. And then he gets the job evicting people and doesn't have the foresight to, okay, this hotel or motel is full of people that have been evicted. I probably won't run into anyone that I'm evicting. But of course he does. And that's like a whole big scene. But then the other thing is he starts doing fraud with Michael Shannon. So you're dealing with a sketchy character who's defrauding the government. And he's like, I want you to keep all the money I'm making, and I want you to buy my house back. And Michael Shannon's like, okay, I'll keep it, and your interest rate will be 12%, which, holy shit, that's a really high interest rate. And why the fuck are you dealing with this person that's doing illegal things just to get your goddamn house back? This is how you got into this situation that started this whole fucking thing, because you make stupid decisions. Who takes a 12% interest rate with essentially a loan shark is what you're dealing with here? Like, he just keeps making stupid decisions, and you're like, wow, this guy's just completely fucking stupid. I don't feel bad for him at all.
Why wouldn't he just keep the money
It's just,
and then get... Cause,
that's what I'm
Because
saying.
the bank has his house, right? At this point?
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't he...
Mm-hmm.
And is Michael Shannon working for the bank?
Kind of. He has like this realty company that kind of, he works on behalf of the bank.
Oh.
But the thing is that he kind of tries to, what he's essentially going to do is Michael Shannon's going to buy the house with his money to hold it for Garfield until he has enough money to get it.
Yeah.
But you're dealing with a guy that has gotten you into some shady shit.
Yeah.
Defrauding the government. And now you're going to be like, yeah, I'm going to give you all my money that I'm making with you. I'm not, no paper trail, nothing. I'm just going to trust you. And a 12% interest rate? Why not? Everything should work out fine.
And I'm making enough.
No wonder you lost your fucking... Yeah, no wonder you lost your fucking house. Jesus Christ. It's an irritating movie.
Basically, it's exactly like what happened in real life. I mean...
Kind of. But it's just...
Like, I think the whole...
It's a particular version of it.
Like, I think that the whole housing, bubble bursting is... I think that a lot of the fault does lie on, the banks and the people that were providing these loans to people who
but
clearly could not.
It's a two-way street.
But right, it's
a two-way street.
Exactly.
You know, like we talked about it before. I got approved for like $375,000 for a home. I can't fucking afford that. There's no way. Just because a bank tells me I can afford it, you just don't trust banks. Why would you trust a bank?
Yeah, do the math.
Like, who has your interest in mind? You. Like, it's simple. Do a budget. Money comes in, money goes out. What can you afford? It's not rocket science.
With a mint account, it's free.
Yeah.
Manage your budget, people.
It's not difficult. It's really not difficult.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad you saw it, because I was like, I don't know, it was like one of the year-end things, and I was like, should I see this? But now I know that I don't need to bother.
Oh, it's awful. It kind of just relies on the fact that people kind of inherently hate bankers without, and it just kind of rides on that.
Cool. So that's 99 Homes. Is that out on like Netflix now or something?
Yeah, that's out on the Netflix.
Oh, okay. All right. So that's a skip from Kevin. I saw one that a lot of people love this one, but I just could not get into it. And that's called Trouble Every Day from 2001, directed by Claire Denis.
Oh, I haven't. I've been wanting to see this.
I think you'd probably like it. For me, for some reason it reminded me of it sort of reminded me of a Jim Jarmusch movie in a lot of ways, like Limits of Control or even Only Lovers Left Alive, where it's like sort of a love story, but it's also this kind of horror story that is about cannibalism or vampirism. They don't really say, but I think it's more like cannibals. They eat people. It stars Vincent Gallo, and he plays Vincent Gallo basically, just as the old creepy scuzzy Vincent Gallo.
The guy that hasn't slept for like 3 weeks. It always looks like he hasn't slept.
Yeah, he's very disheveled.
He's operating on just pure sleep deprivation.
I can't even really tell you exactly what this is about because I was so disinterested in it. I didn't pay very close attention to what was happening. Basically, there's this doctor and his wife has this disease that makes her eat people, and Vincent Gallo works for this like pharmaceutical company, and he goes to Paris to try to meet with this doctor with his it's also his honeymoon. But he doesn't seem to really love his wife. Like he can't. Like there's this really strange sex scene where things start getting hot and heavy. But like before they actually engage in sex, he has to go to the bathroom and jerk off. And there's an ejaculation scene there where it's fake, but you definitely see like fake ejaculate going onto the bathroom counter of the hotel room that they're staying in, which is always pleasant to see. And then it's I don't know what to say about this movie. It wasn't for me. I didn't like it very much at all. Didn't find it particularly entertaining or interesting. A lot of people talk about the cinematography in this and how good it is, but to me it looked really, really dated. It came out in 2001, but it looked like a movie that was maybe made in the mid 90s. It looked like maybe a Brian De Palma film or something. It just didn't look great to me. So there just wasn't a whole lot for me to like about this movie. I thought the performances were pretty bad. It's in like part of it's in English, part of it's in French.
It's got Agnes Goddard doing the cinematography.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably love it.
Yeah, a lot of people are praising the cinematography, but I didn't really think it was anything special. There's also a really bad CG fire scene, which that's a nitpick. But
those are always rough.
Yeah,
there's not. The only thing that's worse than CGI fire is CGI blood. It looks really bad when it's not done
early
right.
CG fire looked really, really horrifically bad. And it's not good in this. It's not CG. It's more like they like composited it. Like, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't.
Okay.
It was fire, but they like laid it on top of the
I got
what was happening. So it looks terrible. So yeah, Trouble Every Day. Can't recommend that one. But check out the reviews on Letterboxd because apparently I missed out on something because everybody's loving it.
I'm gonna say that I'm done.
Okay. I'm also done. So let's go ahead and move on to some predictions. Last week, Deadpool, you said 77, I said 68, actual 84. How to Be Single, you said 42, I said 36, actual 48.
Ooh.
And Zoolander 2, you said 20, I said 38, actual 23. So that's a big win for you this week. I think you got all three of those. Next week,
Yes.
we have Race. I get it. I just got it. It's like race is in a foot race, but also like race is in race.
Because yeah. Which is, I think it's a good story to tell.
I think it's a really interesting story to tell.
But it's just, it looks like it's gonna have that BS Hollywood veneer to it, which, you know.
Is there?
That's a bummer.
Is there like an ESPN 30 for 30 on this? Because I would much rather watch that.
I think there might be, actually.
Because if there is, I'm totally going to watch that. Because just the trailer for this made me interested in learning more about this whole situation. So basically, if you're not familiar, it's about Jesse Owens in the, 1938? 36 Olympics, where in Germany, when the Nazis were in control.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. But the movie itself, it doesn't look too good to me. So I'll say like, I don't know, 58 on this one.
I'm going to say 62.
All right. And we have, at least it's a big one to me, and that's The Witch. I'm so excited for The Witch.
Isn't it the double V itch?
Yes, it's the double V itch. The VV itch.
VV
That
itch.
sounds like some kind of horrible STD.
It does. It sounds terrible.
Oh man, I got the VV itch. What? Watch out, dude. I heard she has the VV itch.
Oh man, I'm excited for this one, but I'm also trying not to get those expectations up too high.
I thought that. I don't know. I just saw like a banner ad for it or something, and it just like dawned on me like, oh man, what if this is just being played up so much and I'm just setting myself up for disappointment with this one?
I know, and that's kind of what I'm thinking, because it usually feels that way, doesn't it? When it's like, it seems like people are trying too hard to get it out there.
Yeah.
Like I'm always apprehensive when that's going on, because I'm like, it seems like you're trying entirely too hard.
Yeah.
To get me to be into this.
I'm reminded of the Babadook, because I didn't love that as much as everyone else did, and I was so amped for that movie, and I feel like I was a little let down just because my expectations were so high.
Yeah.
What are you thinking on The Witch?
I think for the most part I'm gonna say like 70, 78.
All right. I'm gonna say 82 on that one. Hope it'll be pretty good. In limited release next week, we have Risen. I think that's a Jesus Christ movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
The old JC getting some screen time.
It's the first 40 days after the resurrection of Jesus Christ. It's told through the eyes of an agnostic Roman centurion.
So Joseph Fiennes in it.
Yeah. Cool.
What?
Embrace of...
You know the worst part? I just want to pop this in real quick. The worst part about these movies is that my area gets all of these.
Yeah.
And they fill up.
But you won't get The Witch.
No, I won't. I will not get The Witch. I'll get Risen. I just typed it in, and it's already got showtimes for me.
World works, unfortunately. We also have Embrace of the Serpent.
Oh, thank goodness.
You excited for this one?
I've been dying for this one.
Oh, okay. Gee, I wish you would have told me that a couple weeks ago when I had it. Let's see, what else we got here? Forsaken, Nearja, The Great Gilly Hopkins. These are all movies I am not familiar with. Rolling Papers, which is a documentary about the Denver Post, and after they legalized recreational marijuana usage, they actually created a marijuana column in their newspaper, and they had reviewers, like marijuana critics.
Nice.
And it's just kind of about how that came to be, and I think that it's also gets into the parallels between like the newspaper business, like the failing newspaper business, and then like the kind of blossoming legal marijuana business. It looks interesting. I'm kind of interested in checking that one out. We are Twisted Fucking Sister, which is
Whoa.
yeah. Twisted Sister documentary. Not too interested in that. And Snow Time.
Snow Time?
Yeah.
What's that about?
It looks like it's an animated film.
Snow Time.
Looks really bad. I don't know if is it foreign, maybe? Foreign animated film?
Yeah, it looks French.
Yes, I think it's a French one.
French-Canadian?
Yeah.
French-Canadian or just French?
One of the two, but I don't know. I don't know anything about that one either, so.
It's just about a massive snowball fight. That's all it is.
I guess it could be cool.
It's just kids in a village decide to have a massive snowball fight.
Sure.
Why not?
Next week on VOD, all I have here is Rolling Papers.
That's it.
Yeah, as the week goes on, check back on our calendar because I will be updating that. Sometimes there's some latecomers. Sometimes I'll get emails about ones that are coming out that week. So, check back on that one. Blu-ray next week. We have Black Mass, Steve Jobs. Have you seen Black Mass yet? That's another one that I got a year-end screener for, but I did not watch it yet. Steve Jobs, I liked that one. Let's see. Arrow is releasing The Mutilator from 1985. It's got an awesome cover as usual.
That sounds great.
Yep, I'm pretty excited for that one. The 33, that's the Chilean Miners one. Not interested.
Shouldn't have been a movie.
Yep.
Why?
Yep.
We're just turning everything into movies now.
And that's pretty much it from what I'm seeing. There's a lot of re-releases and stuff. There's some movie called Criminal Activities with Michael Pitt and John Travolta and Dan Stevens.
Okay.
I remember seeing the cover poster for that before, but I don't really know anything about it. That's pretty much it. What do we have on the Criterion front?
Well, the first one we have, which is fantastic for me, is Oshima's Death by Hanging from 1968.
And we're going to have a review for this one up.
Yeah, I'm going to have a review up for that one. Pitch black satire. This is him kind of delving into or exploring Japanese-Korean relations. And this is, Criterion's getting really close to having all the Oshimas, which is fantastic. I love that. Getting so damn close. And then the other one is 1921's Charles Chaplin, the kid. Chucky Chapman doing this thing. Which I saw this, and I remember thoroughly enjoying it, but it's been a long time. I don't remember anything about it.
That's not the boxing one, is it?
No. This is the one where he has the orphan.
Oh, okay.
This is his first full length.
Ah, okay.
Him playing the old tramp. Doing tramp raising a kid.
Playing the old tramp. All right, cool. All right. I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. And if you have a minute, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/FilmPulse, and consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber. We appreciate that so very much. For Kevin Rankstraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week. Several anthology. Oh God, I'm floundering already.